How much does it weigh, Sebastian? About 100 pounds. I worked me up from 50-pound dirt devils back in the day. Yeah, a lot of work, but I'm proud of where I am. I've got the muscles to show for it. Anyway, what I was trying to tell you, some people have called friends of mine and said, did you know that BenBen was like the Charlie Rose of Vimeo back in the day? He'd just have women up to his hotel room wearing a robe. He just completely derobed in front of them. So gross. Do I look like the type of guy that has to do that? 1004, 5. Phone. Buongiorno, Martello. Ciao, bella. Is it ready? Silk opens in the front symmetrically. What about the sash? Is it frayed at the ends? Does it tickle the skins? Welcome to the Chris Como. Welcome to the BenBen show. My apologies. A little confused there for a second. It's early. It's a hump day, I think, yeah. Although this will air on Thursday because YouTube's uploadability sucks. Anyways, this episode of the BenBen show is brought to you by Jennifer Lawrence's hacked nudes. Jennifer Lawrence's hacked nudes. Next time you're at a bus stop, you want people around you to think that you have the most amazing list of exes. Just start looking at jacked Jennifer Lawrence nudes on your phone. Something like this. Excuse me, this is private. Okay, if you must know. Yes, we used to date. Oh, the bus is here. Also by, do you have diabetes? Sebastian, that's all I have. Who's sponsoring the show? Yeah, all you said was, do you have diabetes? What does that mean? Like the American Diabetes Foundation? Or is the disease sponsoring the show? Also, why is it that in the notes you specify I pronounce it diabetes? Is that supposed to be funny? Write it down next time. Gee, they're not gonna give us money now. The disease or the association protects against it. Either one, we want the money. We need the money. It's 2 strikes. Sorry. Dominion voting machines. I have no idea. I have nothing. The media is so confused. No one knows anything. Everyone just talks crap about Donald Trump. All the accusations are he's just biding his time. He's trying to throw things off. He might even be throwing a curveball as to the process of fraud, which is not really what he's suggesting in his filings, but more so that the votes themselves can't be counted because of process laws that are unconstitutional to count, to segregate votes. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to treat all the votes equally according to the Constitution. So the whole fraud thing could just be a farce. So the media is kind of latching on to stuff that he's done in the past, which is say outlandish comments and then allow the media. But that's superficial. This is very serious. The substance of this might have to do with his legacy. He might realize that he's on his way out, and to protect it, that one sliver of a doubt that perhaps they stole it from him, and that the election, by definition, the system that we do things in this country for the general election should be, universal, regardless of the states, regardless of the electorates, regardless of the city and the people in charge, whether they're Democrat or Republican. It should just be, completely homogenized. That could be his legacy, one of the big ones, and that will kind of downplay the fact that he lost and did not win in his second term. I quite frankly never thought he'd run again. I always thought that the whole point of Donald Trump running was to kind of pitch off this giant broadcasting network, and it was kind of like a Deal or No Deal type of thing, where he would, launch a huge broadcasting network from the campaign loss and kind of use the media and kind of the hype of it all and just make it all a big joke. And then he actually won. And then I'm like, does he even want to do this? If you're a billionaire, why do you want to be president of the United States? I don't get it. Just play golf, enjoy your life. You're making so much money. Why give that all up? Why have people attack you? After he's done with his presidency in January, if indeed things are the way they are, the status quo remains, there's rumors of this Justice Department going after him for, criminal charges and stuff like that, stemming from things he did as president and before, stuff related to his taxes, all of which never would have come out. Just as Michael Cohen never would have been arrested. Just as General Flynn never would have been arrested. Never would have been charged if Donald Trump never ran for. Just think about it. Process crimes that have been involved and the direct correlation to Trump that have all related to his presidency that would not have existed if not for him being president. It's very interesting. I don't know. I really think it is. I think that's one of the most unique things in the world is to have your life ruined just because you work for someone. That people found out things that you did 20 years ago that everyone lies on, like their mortgages and stuff like that, embellishes their income to get a lower rate, whatever. 20 years down the line, oh, well, you did this, and you lied about it here. We're going to get you through the line. We're going to get you the thing you did 20 years ago that has nothing to do with your association with Trump or the presidency now. That sucks. That really sucks. It's very hard to keep friends and influence people that way. But I feel like when it's all said and done, when he's out of the way, it's not going to be, sunshine and roses. Because the element of Trumpism has to be attacked by the Democrats. That's a very dangerous thing. What better way to attack it, to abolish it from the ends of the earth, is to actually attack the person that created it and undermine their credibility. Charge him with fraud, charge him with crimes related to his business practices. This will help undermine that cause for the Democrats and push forward this new world agenda going back to the old, undermining the American worker, globalist agenda, open borders, no such thing as nation states. It'll help. Because the people, the idea of the Fronde, the Protestant Revolution, the French Revolution, and just the idea of the peasant uprising. Keep them, sedated. Heroin doesn't seem to be a big issue. The heroin epidemic seems like it's an afterthought to COVID. Instagram, limbic system resonance, big phones, keep them all doped up on all this bullshit, and they won't be the wiser. And the status quo will remain, culling an entire generation of people. Give them a universal minimum wage, give them free money from the government, guarantee them a middle-class life subsidized by the U.S. government. That's quote-unquote middle class, but can't be, because you can't have all the buyers in the market. There's buyers and sellers. There has to be winners and losers. This unified thing is a farce. It's not truly real. This attack on capitalism and everything else has been going on for years. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I think the scary thing for Trump is it's not over when he leaves. That sucks. And I don't know who the Republicans are going to pick now. Mitt Romney is so boring compared to Trump. Kamala Harris, when she takes over for little kitty, when she takes over for Biden, is going to be the first female black president running for president. She's going to be the first female black president, and then she's going to be the first female black president to run for president. That's tough to go against in this country of feelings and emotions and we have to do ad hoc reparations and this is the big deal. And it's funny, I don't think this country's racist as much as people think it is because Obama was president, but it's almost like
so all of you suck it up.
I don't know. I don't really care about this anymore. I dealt with an Obama presidency. I don't mind. It is what it is. I can handle it. I just hope that something positive comes out of this voter recounts and these lawsuits. Something that's that lasts. That kind of, there's a shirt maker on YouTube or on Instagram. He always pulls on his shirts in his videos, which I think is not good because it's suggestive that his shirts are faulty. This shirt will just fall underneath my jackets. The collar is not quite high enough. It's frustrating. For someone as tall as me, I need a higher collar. I don't know. Anyway, sorry for the tangent. But Yeah, it's Borelli, by the way. Love Borelli shirts. They wrinkle you within an hour, but they're very comfortable. You can hear that my cat's taking a shit. But yeah, I just I don't know what to say about. I don't think anyone should be freaked out by what's happening. I think there's this lull in the media cycle right now. Like, Aren't you buried it? Sorry. It's like they poop and I'm gonna bury it and it's gonna be fine. But we all kind of know where it is because you have to go to the same place to shit. It's kind of so weird. Also, I spray this stuff so it doesn't smell. This is the office, quote unquote. Like Henry Cavill takes his dog Cal everywhere. I bring my cat everywhere because I'm a weirdo. I don't walk my cat, but I will walk outside and it will follow me and do like laps. I think people too, get sunlight, go outside, especially with this like change in daylight savings and everything. Like, you know, people during the workday sometimes they don't get any sunlight. They don't go outside. They go from like office to taxi to lunch. Maybe that's the transition somewhere in there. They go for a walk. Take 45 minutes. You think you can't get it? Of course you can. Take 15 minutes in between this and then 15 minutes later in the day. Try to get 30 to 40 minutes of walking time. You know, you get to work in the morning, drop off early, get a few blocks in. Get some sun. Get some sun on your face. It's important. I don't think I'm getting enough. Keeps you young, vitamin D's, good for you. Keeps the COVID away. I don't know, just a thought. But yeah, I don't know anything about Dominion voter machines. I don't know anything about it. There's nothing substantive. You have one part of the media that says it's all bullshit. The other part says, let's give it some time. So we're in this lull. Stock market seems to be kind of wavering, like, yeah, but with all the money that we have aside in the credit markets, look at all the evictions we've put aside. Look at all these real estate investment trusts that haven't gotten paid. Look at all these people that own all these shopping centers for businesses that haven't received rent. There's a huge credit crisis right now that no one's talking about. So I feel Biden's presidency is going to begin with another downturn in the equity markets. It has to. Things are too high. The equity markets will start to go down and start to mimic what's happening in the credit markets. That's going to happen. I think so. I'm net short, and I am short I'm long the US dollar right now, so I'll just say that. I think the markets are going to come down. Yeah. So, 7 charged with stealing millions in COVID relief, spending it on a Lambo, a 2013, so they saved some money, bought used, and a Porsche. They didn't explain which Porsche. All told, Amir Akil and Sadiq Azimuddin received $16 million from the PPP program, seeking $30 million. But that's when the feds and 45 warrants showed up. And this is the problem when you commit fraud. If you don't have the income from the past, if you think, no one can see my tax returns, I just have to sign something. The feds get warrants for this stuff. If they see some business that's like a delicatessen and a check cashing place that all of a sudden are asking for $30 million from the government for PPP, they're going to get a warrant and look at your past tax returns to see why would you need this much money. And if there is no correlation to damages and anything from the bad guys from Superman Returns coming to Earth to COVID that would warrant such monies because you don't have the income to justify it, you're going to get fucked. This is free money. If 77% of your workforce, if you keep them on the payroll, the PPP is free. And this has coerced a lot of people into committing fraud. The problem is there's a fine line between having a business and being successful and cheating within that range. Like, I don't know, you get, say you do $7-8 million a year at 25% margin. You try to take out, $1 million from PPP. That's possible. You have 300 workers, 150 workers working for you. Definitely doable. Definitely doable. Asking for 16 million, well, let's extrapolate that. What is the value? You have a $100 million business? You see, like, it's so short-sighted, and then you're fucked. These people don't get to keep this money, I'm guessing. Part of their plea deal will be if they try to hide it to bring it back. And they could be facing 10 years. So you take $16 million divided by 10, look at the discount rate of money. They're not keeping the money. So say they keep $1 million of it. It comes down to $100,000 per year. You have to discount that back at a rate of 5 to 8%. What is the real value of that money in today's terms? I'm going to say like $450,000, $550K, something like that. That's what they did this for. And then the opportunity cost of not working for 10 years when you're locked up in prison, oh my goodness. It's just stupid. I don't, and this happens so quickly. There have been people that have been charged by the feds. Literally, the feds knew right when they filled in the thing that they were cheating. They let them take the money, go buy jewelry, buy their, NetJets card or whatever, and then come after them. It's like, that's one of the most dangerous things, is that you don't know when the feds are watching. I have a great example of this, of a friend of mine who came up from a very bad neighborhood. And he was jealous of his friends who were part of a drug trafficking network. This is true. I have friends from all different backgrounds, and he's black, so that's a plus for me, because I am definitely not black, nor does it look like I have tons of black friends based on how pasty I am, which is somewhat racist, because you shouldn't think that just in the way I look. Anyway, he was telling me, BenBen, I'm really jealous. My friends I grew up with aren't letting me into this thing they're doing. Like, what are they doing? Well, they're moving weight, heroin and cocaine, and do you really want to be involved in that, dude? And it's like, well, it's more that I'm upset they didn't let me in. They didn't ask me. They've asked other people, but they were my boys when I was growing up. I knew them for decades. I'm like, I understand. So you feel slighted. Of course, you should. I understand. They're your friends. Do business venture. You inquired about it, I imagine. I'm not going to go into that. There's this whole thing about conspiracy where if you know someone's doing something wrong and you don't tell the cops, you can actually be charged. They use it against you. I know this full well. If they want someone, they'll go to all your fringe friends and put pressure on them, especially ones that know for a fact what you do. And they're like, oh, you didn't tell the FBI that your friend sells cocaine. We're gonna ruin your life. Not fun. But yeah, it's what they do. It's just part of the pressure thing. They don't care about you. They care about your friends. And so I said, well, you never know when the feds are watching. They have 13 years or something in conspiracy charges to get you in trouble. Don't think you're like missing out on something. They may already be fucked. Lo and behold, within a month of that conversation, he calls me up and says all of his friends were picked up by the feds. Huge drug trafficking charges, massive. May never leave. May never get out of jail. I'm talking about 30-year sentences, stuff like that, because of their previous history. I said, can you imagine if you finally got into it? You got into the game right when they were going up. They were showing their, leased Lambos and whatever, and you're like, oh, I'm so jealous. I'm finally in. I got in, and you didn't realize they were already fucked, and now you just joined, and now you're fucked with them, and you didn't even get to enjoy it. The sort of utility function of happiness in life is to kind of enjoy your riches, enjoy the quality of life. Of course, that doesn't really happen when you're behind a jail cell. And I don't know whether a year of being rich to being in jail for 20 years is worth it. I don't think so. And it's certainly not worth the sleep and lack of sleep of just constantly being worried and like knowing that in any second someone could be knocking on your door. Lo and behold, you were worried about something that's silly. The whole thing blew up in your face, and you're not part of it. You're relieved, but you're so upset you were not part of it just a month ago. So yeah, that happens. I don't know. But the PPP thing, I wonder if any part of the Justice Department said to the SBA and said, hey, do this, make it so it's like, almost like they knew that some people would cheat and they'd be able to charge people. Because there are people on these dockets that have never done anything wrong in their life. They just saw the opportunity for free money. All the while, their own government's fucking them over and destroying their businesses by denying them the ability to actually function appropriately and normally based off of the fear of the spreading of COVID. We don't care that you and your livelihood are going to the shithole. We don't care that you put all your life savings into a business and started in 2020. Don't care. If you lie on this sheet of paper, we are going to come after you. But they dangle it in front of you like meat on a hook in a lion's cage. I feel bad. I feel so bad. This is wrong. It's wrong of the government. I don't know, man. I think it's wrong. I don't know. I just think it's a game. It's a huge game. It's a very messed up game. It's almost like a terraforming, the whole thing of COVID and like businesses being shut down, all retail, this idea of like not commuting to work anymore. It's like a terraforming of society within like a year's time. And it only seems to benefit one element of business, which is subscriptions as a service, internet businesses, major players that are not brick and mortar. So a lot of mom and pops, a lot of conservative companies are now reverting to being forced on the dole, requiring government assistance that they never would before, converting a bunch of people that were more libertarian to, at least economically, a more kind of socialist acceptance of I have no choice. It's scary. Imagine how long this is going to last. It's going into 2021. The vaccines from Moderna, et cetera, aren't going to be available to everyone. And that's the funny thing too. When they're available, are the rules still in place about limiting people in places? How do you justify that? Well, they're all of it. So all the vaccines are available, but you don't have to take one. It seems like there's going to have to be a mandate on taking the vaccine too. At least there has to be like quotas reached of populations based on census data in different cities to allow those cities to be released into normal business operating practices. The mask thing makes so many people that spend money, discretionary income normally, they don't have it. They don't want to go out and spend their money. They're sick of wearing a mask. It's exhausting. It's not fun to do that. And then the idea that they might have a new job where they stay at home instead of going to the office. Are you pooping again? Jesus. That whole thing is crazy too. Because they're going to get paid less money, which means less discretionary income, which means more staying at home and more brick and mortar businesses having less income, less revenue going in. Net. It's messed up, man. Blockbuster game of deception Among Us that allows you to hack the game that's embedded in the gameplay itself evidently has holes in its code which are unintended by the developers, essentially allowing you to do whatever you want, including becoming president of the United States and refusing to concede and maintaining your presidency into a second term illegally. I'm just kidding. No, but it is funny that they have code elements in the game that were enabling players to go in and basically do that Matrix thing, Mr. Smith, take you over as a player, like absorb you, become you, replicate themselves, all this stuff that was unintended, basically kill everyone automatically with by the press of a button that's in like the second. Imagine playing Halo with 20 people and then you just can press enter and then they all die and you win. Oops, that's stupid. It's funny. It's amazing how people think of this, though. I think it's a cool game probably to get into coding if you can see the code and it's based off of, I don't know, general coding paradigm, like general coding language like Python or something like that. And you can just go into it and learn how to okay, this is what this says. What if I did this? This game came out highly popular, blockbuster game, and then someone said, hey, by the way, I don't think developers know this, but I can just destroy, kill, and win every single time. This is like universal wins. This is too easy. It's weird how you. I know game development is complicated, and there's tons of little nerdy kids. Ben Shapiro's are into coding, not politics. But I give Ben Shapiro our time. I think he's very intelligent. Great. But yeah, it's too bad. It's also too bad that. And related news, I guess, in some way. Lil Wayne has been charged with possession of a weapon by a convicted felon stemming from a 2019 plane search in Florida. It makes you wonder how these things happen. There was that girl that insisted she was an heiress to Samsung or something. Her plane, she was moving marijuana with her boyfriend, drug dealer, to Wisconsin. I guess one of the pilots was tipped off. But in this circumstance, it makes you wonder who tipped off the feds to search Lil Wayne's plane of all people. How many investment bankers get their plane searched randomly? It seems a little biased. But also, they end up finding a gold-plated gun. Wheezy Lil Tanucci is I think it's Tanucci. At least that's how I say it. Teenuchi. Tanucci. I don't know. I contact him on Twitter all the time. He doesn't talk to me. I did once have a thing. I had a daydream where he hits me in a Phantom Rolls Royce, and then he feels bad about it, and then we cut an album together, and he gives me like $10 million. He feels bad. I think that's great. Maybe I don't think I'm in a wheelchair. I think I can completely recover. So I'm not like a rapper that's like paraplegic, which would seem like difficult because the diaphragm, vocal cords. Anyways, Wheezy's lawyer, as a statement, asserted there's no allegation that Lil Tanucci is a dangerous person, adding that Supreme Court has not decided constitutionally this question. However, Amy Coney Barrett recently wrote an appellate dissenting opinion in which she stated, absent evidence that he either belongs, I guess the individual, the defendant, to a dangerous category or bears individual markers of risk, permanently disqualifying a convicted felon from possessing a weapon is a violation of the Second Amendment. There's a lot of things we have in our society about this that are controversial. Like these wide, that does seem weird. A white collar criminal, is Lil Wayne really going to start murdering people given he's a multi-millionaire? Like, is he going to end up shooting people on his own? He'd hire people to do it. You can charge him differently. It makes no sense. The idea of being a rapper and kind of the persona, the entertainment persona, and where he comes from, conflating that with the person is kind of racist. It's kind of messed up. He's obviously not a gangbanger. He's an entertainer. It's a game. Tupac, went to ballet school and art school. Like part of his persona was like a facade. It's a game. So yeah, I think that's a thing that needs to be talked about more. I don't know. It's definitely a problem. 50 Cent addressed the allegations on Instagram, insisting the rapper get Trump on the phone before he leaves office. Sure, why not? 50 Cent was also the same person that was propositioned by Chelsea Handler, his ex-girlfriend, that if he elected not to vote for Trump, she would sleep with him. Of course, no one said anything about that blatant prostitution. He ended up flipping his thing and saying, fuck Trump, I guess to get some ex-pussy. I don't know. I'm sorry, is it okay? Can I say that? I don't know. But ultimately, he originally stated that he didn't want to vote for Biden because he didn't want to pay, 40%, 44% income taxes. A legitimate claim. I mean, like from substance, it's, yeah, why would you want to pay more in taxes? Vote for Trump. What benefit does Biden give you? You've made it, despite your bankruptcy and everything, whatever, you seem to still have money coming in, income stream, vitamin water, you're good. So fuck, the whole Biden thing and like rising up and helping people that can't help themselves and whatever else. You've made it. No reason to vote for Biden. The catch-22 of Biden's whole thing is that if you keep giving people free shit, will they ever rise up? You know what I mean? Like, it kind of dilutes the ladder, right? Like the ladder just keeps extending, so you keep thinking you're climbing, but it's fake steps because everyone's getting the handout. So it's kind of like you think you're climbing out of the water, but really you're still in it. It's a little facade. It's a little game. I talked to someone in Washington, D.C. about that. It was a realtor about housing stipends, vouchers, about how many people actually end up getting off housing vouchers. And it turns out like 90% of people that end up receiving housing vouchers in Washington, D.C. never get off them. They take advantage of the system forever. That's unfortunate. But that's the game. Free money. Like, why wouldn't you? Same thing with the PPP. You have people that are literally hardworking private citizens with their own business that see an opportunity for free money. They take it. It's like it's a drug. You can't blame them. But it's like meat on a hook. I can't emphasize this enough. It seems very disingenuous to think that doing this to people and offering them the opportunity to get out of hardship from the COVID crisis with their business with free money that's at I don't know, Prime Plus Live, it's just like 3.35% over 30 years, like no payments in the first year, some crazy number. Or it's free if you just keep 77% of your workforce. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so free. But when are things going to get back to normal? The free market operates appropriately. The people that are making the most money in this, not quantitative hedge funds, they've been losing money because they hand over fist this year. I mean, it's got to be rough to lose money in 2020 as a hedge fund. It's brutal. It's brutal, brutal, brutal. You should have gone to like man trading. There's nothing in history like this. So all the quants, Renaissance, Omega 2 fund, they've all had bad years. I think D.H. Shaw, which has an office in Maryland, they've done well. Their macroeconomic fund is up 20%. Yay. They might be based off currency issues, though. That it's a bit easier to read in this economy than usually, especially if they're hedged. This is God, I just want things to be normal. I want things to be normal so badly. What else do I have on here? Dueling dinosaur fossils show Triceratops and T-Rex may have died after battle. Fucking awesome. Just based on the way they laid, like, you know, just like, fuck you, and they just fall over. And obviously, we're friends. The Triceratops has like all the plating and everything, and then the T-Rex, you know, has the little. My friend Andrew's arms remind me of T-Rex. This is like. Andrew, my friend's claim to fame is he was in the college Little League World Series. And he was like a pitcher, so he was like throwing heat like Danny Almonte, and then he hurt his shoulder and never pitched again. I don't think he's ever even served. He likes tennis. He doesn't serve. I don't think he's done that since. It's like something about like I can't heat up the arm, kind of like Rookie of the Year. Remember like Chet Steadman, like you know, I'll let the arm go. I can't do it. I'm like, since you were 9, 8, like you've never thought about like just letting it rip. Like you at one point, he's a really good athlete. Could have played, you know, in college and everything. Didn't. He has this weird, obnoxious thing in basketball. This scoop shot where he just like fakes you and then just do it all like constantly. You know, like the people that use the backboard just like behind their back and they just get it and it banks in. He's that guy. So obnoxious. Like he's like 6'4". He could be up against like a 7-foot center and just like, oh fuck you, just do this. You know, there's no defense. The 7-footer has to jump up and he'll just sky hook it behind with no look, and I win 20-0 in like a one-on-one game. It's ridiculous, right? Only because it's 20-0. Because if you score, you get to keep the ball. If you score and it switches up, it would be much closer, obviously, because he can't defend a 7-footer. Who could? Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. T-Rex and falling. I'm shocked the Democrats are still with Pelosi. God, isn't she just like? I think there's something addictive about the money. She's worth like $40 million. She has $187,000 a year salary, and she's still going at it. Why is she going at it? Because the money from special interest groups, from private donors, from just people that give her, oh, you've done such a good job here. That's the only reason you go into politics. Tons of our mutual friends, people have watched this show. We know people that went to Harvard and Yale, and some of us did that ourselves and went to Capitol Hill instead of going to Wall Street or going to a law firm, going into med school, whatever. And they did that because there is money at the end of the rainbow in civil service. It's selling out, but maybe you can sell out and keep your ideals. Maybe. Maybe special interests can align with your perception of the way the world should be. Maybe you can only take money from certain people. Maybe. I've just never understood someone who goes to graduate school and takes a $40,000 a year on Capitol Hill. I've never understood that. But then again, I look at Nancy Pelosi and I see her double Sub-Zero refrigerators, and I'm like, oh, yes. Because you don't have enough room for the meat and the cheese and the ice cream. You gotta have both. Of course. Makes absolute sense. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited for normalcy again. I'm excited for December 15th. I guess we'll figure out sometime when Gore went to mid-December. So we'll find out soon. right before Christmas. I think there'll be a stimulus package for lots of people like that. It'll probably happen, like a huge one. Also probably retroactive from September, I'd say. Maybe even earlier if you haven't applied previously for benefits. That's good. That should pump up the economy. That should give a nice inauguration boost for Biden if he ends up being the president. I don't see anything substantial right now with Trump. The most interesting about the Trump's invective is that it's a national security issue because you are publicly acknowledging as the United States government through its municipalities and states that there is fraud, that the election was false. This is a huge embarrassment on the national stage. And if you're the Justice Department and people that oversee things, which you have, I think, unfortunately, have an interest towards the left's kind of modus operandi of bigger government because it gives them more money. It's very hard being a libertarian or Republican these days because the amount of concerted effort to give the illusion that government is impartial, that doesn't care about funding and that they don't compete against each other, that they only care about the American people and the Constitution. It's hard to see that when every other person existing in the world wants what they want for themselves and is selfish to some degree. The idea that a unified body that just happens to work for the government just is altruistic without end is really silly. And so you have the Justice Department, you have the FBI, CIA, NSA. Basically, their powers are defined by their budgets and taxpayer money. And their ability to do what they do is governed by taxation and dark money and some other things that the government we're not aware of, hidden budgets, blah, 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 blah. Maybe just printing off money for them into the circulation that undermines our currency that no one talks about. It's possible too. It's not even from taxation. It's hidden programs. Or they created one program that's fake and it's a farce offense for going into NSA like research and AI develop, whatever. I don't know. But I don't think they have conservative values. I think this country fundamentally is turning over to a socialist country. I think the end is near. I think we will have the illusion of democracy, like save America, save democracy, vote against Trump, right? That type of idea. But the suppression of speech, like don't allow this person to speak because they're a Trump supporter, and that's somehow democratic. It's concerning. We see this all the time. We see this, don't allow for the recount, which is part of the constitutional process. That's don't allow Trump to do what he's doing. It's moot. It's moot. Who cares? Just let it be. It's so short, such a short period of time. 20 minutes a month relative to a 4-year term. Let it be. It seems like every measure that Kamala Harris and Biden, I think President Harris really, are going to come in and kind of be the status quo. And it's fine. Yeah, dealt with it with Obama. I'm going to deal with it again. I was playing tennis during the Hillary Clinton election, Hillary Clinton-Trump election night in 2016. I didn't think Trump had a chance. I was I don't know how to deal with this. It was like 6 o'clock, 7, and I heard that Trump won Florida or something. Or things were just. I was like, oh, it's like he's going to landslide. It was very close then too, but he had won Florida, I think, early. So yeah, it's fine. Nothing really changes. There's so much money involved. There's so much power. Nothing you can really do to. Trump's, I think, has a partial recount vote for Michigan. He only has 3.8 million. He needs 7, but he's only paid 3. This doesn't bode well. We just have to accept what it is. If anything comes out concretely about voter fraud from this election, it's wonderful. And the Republicans took on more seats in the House, so hopefully there's some sort of Senate judiciary and congressional hearings that kind of go over this and how to have a streamlined process in the future. I don't think Trump's going to run again. that would be 78 years old for the same reasons that Biden was criticized for running. Trump's, to go back to playing golf and running his business, which really his kids are probably running as intermediaries, it takes some time. Being a president is exhausting. It's the hardest job in the world. We've seen that. It's a 24-hour-a-day job. There's no question that he has gone above and beyond in what he thinks is right for this country, what he believes in. He sacrificed a lot, and we're going to see him attacked after he leaves presidency. And we're like, what really was his means and ends? Still, people to this day are saying, oh, he's working with Russia. And they're from mainstream media. And I'm just like, this is crazy that Giuliani is working with Russia. All the while, the Ukrainian allegations against Biden, pay for play, et cetera, and so forth, and his son, well, those are unsubstantiated bullshit. That's just Russian disinformation, probably perpetuated by Trump. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. This is so weird. We live in such a weird time. 50 Cent, get rich or die trying. I think that's what it is. Just get rich or die. Get at, just accept get rich or die trying. A lot of this bullshit is just for the birds, man. Just for the birds. Oh, man. The Chris Comos of the world, the Don Lemons, they're just, to crying. Like, Don was crying about Biden winning. What? It's just so hard. Or you have, like, Colbert crying on TV. It's just, It's just, Trump, because Trump's refusing to concede or something. Like, dude. You were a weatherman on like a local news network in like the Carolinas, and you're picked up by Comedy Central and had a huge, funny show that was overtly patriotic, and then you got the big job, and now you're playing the game. Man, it's like everyone's watching you, and you're doing such a disservice to the American people, like pretending to cry. That they're really making you do that. No way you're writing that for yourself. That has to come from higher ups, CBS big wigs. It's not funny either. The whole like making fun of Trump thing over and over again, or like that he's doing something evil right now. It doesn't associate itself with the way we've done things in the past with Al Gore in 2000. It just who cares? It's awful. And it gives the worst impression to young people who are idealistic. Republicans are racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic. This way of speaking to people's hearts and minds. It's manipulative. It's very manipulative. But whatever. It's okay. I'll see you guys next week. We'll get through this together. It's fine. BenBen's here. All right. Talk to you later.